All right, the Batman, 10 bold predictions from Ricky Flicks and Dr. O. We're going to go one for one when we do this. We're talking storylines, what we expect to see. It could be big or small. Um, any questions before we start the segment, Ricky Flicks, or how this is going to work?
Yeah, predictions, storylines, we again, we were just talking about the anticipation for this movie. It's out of this world. And how connected, how to the comics, how direct will this movie be to the comics? That is the biggest question. And we're here to kind of just figure out yay or nay to some of the key things that have happened in the comics and the Batman.
I'm excited to do this. We're going to see this movie this week and compare our predictions. What can we say? What can we check off? Right? What can we draw a line through? So this is the fun part of a comic book movie and having familiarity with a franchise that we're able to I guess almost assume certain things about characters when they'll be revealed. That's the beauty of the Batman, right? And they're going to see the different takes on these characters. How will Reeves differ from previous iterations? Let's get going. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, Ricky Flicks, why don't you lead off and give us your first prediction for the Batman?
First prediction. I'll go with there will not be a Harvey Dent in this movie.
Okay. So there won't be Harvey Dent in this movie. I had a similar prediction here. You want to go into it a little bit?
Yeah, what do you have?
So, in my opinion, I think they're going to hint at Harvey Dent in this movie. They might say his name, but you will not see Harvey Dent in this movie. My prediction is that they allude to him, similar how they're probably going to allude to the Joker at the end of this movie. All right. But I think that Harvey Dent will actually make his first appearance in this Batverse in either the Gotham City PD series or the Penguin spinoff series that it's in the works. That is the first time we'll see Harvey Dent, but it won't be in the Batman.
Yeah, I agree. I think you have to allude to it because of what this Batman is looking like, of what this movie is looking like. So they'll definitely mention his name, but there's going to be no courtroom scenes. There'll be a funeral scene like we saw, and there'll be scenes inside of Gotham PD, the police department there, but nothing in the courtroom, nothing like that. I don't think, unless Riddler, you see him go to court, and then we get a chance to see Harvey Dent there as the lead prosecutor for the city. But I don't know. In my opinion, my prediction, no visual of Harvey Dent.
No visual of Harvey Dent. I'm really intrigued by him in a Penguin spinoff series or a Gotham City Police Department series. I think he could really thrive in that scenario. Any person you have in mind to potentially play Harvey Dent?
I think Josh Brolin would be a great one.
Whoa.
But he's a little.
I think that's good.
He's a little bit on the older side, but he looks like the comic book character a little bit. I think he would be great, but a little old.
Very comic book heavy in his filmography as of late, obviously with Cable and then Thanos, right? So, and you could anticipate maybe he plays a second character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Cable and the acquisition of Fox, Deadpool joining the MCU, right? It seems like he could be playing two characters. I'm trying to think of someone that I would prefer to play. People, you know what people said? Because obviously a lot of times we have people that were in contention to play the Batman, a lot of times being cast in villainous roles. Who was in contention against Robert Pattinson for the Batman role? Nicholas Hoult. Imagine Nicholas Hoult potentially as a Two-Face. That's pretty good. A younger, we talk about the White Knight, Golden Boy. Seems like Nicholas Hoult could pull off that character. We've seen the Dark, those Who Wish Me Dead, right? That's the movie, right? Firefighter movie.
Yeah.
Right. So him with the darker side there. I really liked him in that movie. So I could see him as a villain.
He's the right age.
All right. So that's the first prediction. Harvey Dent will be alluded to, but won't appear in the movie. It's now my turn. Okay. My first prediction for the Batman. Alfred Pennyworth will take down somebody one-on-one, at least one person in this movie. So Alfred Pennyworth, played by Andy Serkis, It seems like he got fit for this role compared to like Michael Caine, who's very old, and Jeremy Irons. We never saw him in a fighting circumstance in any of the Snyder movies. So I think this Andy Serkis Alfred, it seems like he has a background in interviews. Andy Serkis has said this is going to be faithful to the comics in terms of Alfred's background, in terms of I don't know what exactly he did, whether it be military service.
His military service, and he got his like first aid training there.
Yeah, so I think that then there's a Pennyworth show that like no one watches. Apparently, I was flipping through HBO Max, like, what the hell? How does no one talk about this show whatsoever? And I felt like they kind of did the character dirty by having him so obscure, like on such an obscure show. But I think Andy Serkis' Alfred will take down someone that maybe intrudes on Wayne in the Wayne Mansion or something like that. Obviously, there's been some indication that the Riddler might know who the Batman truly is, right? That might threaten Alfred, but I think we're gonna get a badass Alfred taking somebody down.
I like that prediction. Did not think of that. I have one as one of my storylines is what type of Alfred will we get? It's obviously a younger Alfred, right? Very much younger than the Tim Burton Alfred, than Michael Caine, and Jeremy Irons. But also like what's his style? So you're saying physical. Jeremy Irons was definitely technical, working on a lot of the inventions, and Michael Caine was kind of the therapist. So what are we going to see from Andy Serkis? So what are we going to see from Andy Serkis? You're saying physical. I think it's more of therapeutic, but I do like it because it's a younger Batman, so a younger Alfred. So he probably still has that military fight in his bag to use at his disposal at times. So I could see that. I like that prediction.
Okay.
Off the beaten path there.
So let's go with your next prediction for the Batman.
My next prediction for the Batman will be Riddler's end goal is to uncover the Court of Owls.
Ooh. So Court of Owls, who are they?
Well, I think you're better equipped at answering this because you are obsessed with Court of Owls. It was your initial prediction or guess when we first were talking before a trailer even came out. So I think you're better equipped to actually talk about it than myself.
So for the listeners who don't know the Court of Owls, okay, has been explored in recent Batman comics. It's kind of like the Illuminati for Gotham City, where it's like it's like the highest class of individuals, high status people in Gotham are basically organized regularly. They wear these owl masks and everything like that, and they kind of are the key to the corruption of Gotham City. And they have they are involved with every decision made with Gotham City. And then I think it's Batman versus Robin, where the Court of Owls, like the animated movie, where the Court of Owls have a large presence. And it's like Batman trying to take down the Court of Owls, obviously, because they're behind a lot of the organized crime that happens in Gotham City. So continue with your prediction. Any other analysis there, Ricky Flex?
So I had this as another prediction here. But the Riddler is, I don't know how to say this, but there won't be we were just talking about Dark Knight and there's like a final battle between the Riddler and the Batman. I don't think there'll be a final battle between the Riddler and the Batman. I think it'll be the Batman and someone else.
So for this movie?
For this movie.
Wow. So you think the big, like a finale last final act, you think that Batman will be fighting someone else other than the Riddler? Because
I think he'll be in jail. And I think the first half of the movie will be like the Riddler trying to capture the Riddler serial killer. And then when he's in jail, it's like he's going to visit him saying like, all right, what the heck were you doing? What should I be looking for? So it's like, they're not like a teamer at all. That's not what I'm saying. But it's like he gets him early on, but then his end goal, the main villain, won't be the Riddler at the end. That's my prediction. That's another prediction, I guess.
Yeah. So do you want to just add that to our prediction list? Like the final battle will not be with the Riddler.
Yes.
That's pretty good. There's you can hear Doc Senior over the Zoom right now. So the final battle, I'm just typing it right now and looking how to phrase it. The final battle will not be the Riddler versus the Batman. It'll be Batman versus someone else.
Correct.
All right. So back-to-back picks from Ricky Flex. I'm okay with it. I love that. I think where I'm going to go next I'll go with another kind of interesting one off the beaten path. I think there's going to be a Nirvana song played in this movie. I think it's not going to be Something in the Way. I think there's going to be a different Nirvana song that will be prevalent in this movie. I don't know if it's going to be Smells Like Teen Spirit in an actual like battle sequence with the Batman, or it's like him listening to the Nevermind album as a recluse and as someone who doesn't want to go out into society. I'm talking about Bruce Wayne here. I think they've talked about, or I should say Matt Reeves has talked about the influence of Nirvana on this Bruce Wayne, that I think he's just going to have one of the songs in the film. I think there will be and then like you think of The Dark Knight, like there's no music whatsoever other than the Hans Zimmer score. Can you like, I would think of music in Batman movies, think of Prince and Batman 1989. So Nirvana seems like to fit the perfect vibe of this grungy type of Batman. I think there will be a Nirvana song other than Something in the Way in this movie.
That's an interesting take. I was gonna say like The Dark Knight. There's no music except that club scene, and it's like just a random like just beat. So it's just all Zimmer. This one, I was not expecting a Nirvana song. Even if you said Something in the Way would be played in this movie, I would say it's not a hot take, but that's a take. I would say no. So I like this prediction. I wouldn't say it's like off the beaten path because it played so well in the trailer, right? So. Mm-hmm. It's definitely believable. Do I think it will happen? No, but now I do.
Yeah, and now I really do think there's going to be some type of Nirvana song here. It's just if the match was too perfect in the first trailer, I think that it's going to perfectly encapsulate like this take on Bruce Wayne and Batman from Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. So, do you want me to do another prediction since you did back to back?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
So. I want to go with another villain type of character. I'm going to predict that Carmine Falcone, played by John Turturro, will die in Batman's arms in this movie. All right. Maybe Batman doesn't necessarily kill him. Maybe it's an accidentally, right? Like kills him. Maybe the Riddler does. I don't know how he's going to die, but I think there's going to be a moment where he dies in Batman's arms. There was a clip that came out. I think it was on one of the late night talk shows of a very comic accurate scene where Carmine Falcone is with Oswald Cobblepot, right? Colin Farrell's Penguin. He's addressing Bruce Wayne and he's telling like Oswald Cobblepot that Bruce Wayne's father saved his life after he was shot in the chest. And that's from The Long Halloween. If anyone's read like The Long Halloween or seen the animated movie. And during that time, Bruce Wayne is actually watching Carmine Falcone get stitched up by his father. And it seems like there is some familiarity between these two characters in their past, right? The relationship between the Waynes and the Falcones, organized crime versus these people have such a positive reputation in Gotham City with the Waynes. I think there's going to be some type of relationship that will come full circle and Carmine Falcone will die in the hands of Batman. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's a good one. In that short clip that was released, and he's talking about how he watched, like Bruce Wayne watched him get stitched up by Thomas Wayne there. He only said he got shot once, but in Long Halloween, he got shot not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. So that was interesting. Little different take there by Matt Reeves. That's a good prediction. I like that one as well.
Okay. What do you got next?
So, Dark Knight. A storyline that developed after Jim Gordon allegedly was killed was his family. And his family obviously came in at the end of the final scene. I predict, there's like 2 predictions, but there's going to be one single one. So do not mark this as 2. That Jim Gordon, his family will not be shown in this movie, and he will fight somebody in this movie.
Okay, so you think he's taking somebody down?
Yes. Batman Year One. They talked about how that Matt Reeves, they talked about how that was an influence for this movie. Batman Year One, you're the one that mentioned it on this pod or reiterated that Batman Year One is also like Batman's the main character, but Jim Gordon's kind of the main character as well, like kind of supporting / main as well. If you do screen time, it's pretty much even between him and the Batman. And in that movie, it shows like I haven't had to take down a Green Beret in a while, and he just freaking beats down Detective Flask or Officer Flask and just
Mhm.
shows that he is a fighter and he is skilled and trained. Jeffrey Wright does not look like that, but I think this is too early on. He's still a captain. He's not commissioner. He will fight somebody in this movie.
Okay. I like that.
Or throw a punch,
take,
either
especially because we're not going to count the sucker punch from that clip from the Batman against him at the police station. We're not going to count that as a fight, right? So we're not going to look at that as a teaser for you. So good pick. I like that you said like his family's not going to be involved because like that's more of a Batman Year One story. That kind of story serves as a prequel to this film. This one's all about Bruce Wayne. We don't have time for that arc, I guess, with his family, him cheating on his wife, right? His pregnant wife at the time.
And Barbara Gordon, like Killing Joke vibes. Like that's way too late. Like it's just too early in his career. Like he probably has like one kid here from Batman Year One. That's it. So let's not get involved with Batgirl and everything going on in the DCEU. Let's focus on this.
Okay. Good prediction, Ricky Flex. I'm going to go next with our 8th prediction. I believe we talked about the Court of Owls earlier. I believe that the Wayne family, Thomas and Martha Wayne, were a part of the Court of Owls. I'm going to say the Court of Owls exists, as you already talked about, and I'm going to say they were a part of the Court of Owls. And this is interesting because historically we look at the way that the Waynes are portrayed, right? They're looked at as like the heroes of Gotham City, the ones that were the philanthropists and like the billionaires who tried to look after and do good for Gotham City. And we're going to talk about like what could Matt Reeves do to kind of like differentiate it's like his film from other Batman films. It's kind of you give a different backstory on the Waynes, and you say they maybe weren't exactly these knights that people like obviously in saviors that people like said they were, and really they were wrongdoers. And I think that's a way it could separate itself from previous iterations. I'm going to say the Waynes were a part of the Court of Owls.
Yeah, and like in the trailer when the Riddler's like, "Oh, you really don't know," like to Bruce Wayne, he's like, "Oh, you really don't know your history," or whatever he said. It's like kind of alluding to that, right? Or that possibility. And I think that's a great prediction. I do love that because like he's also in the trailer, the Riddler goes, "You're a part of this too." So it's like you're also a part of this because your parents were in the Court of Owls. So I like the pick. I do think that's a great prediction as well.
All right. We're on to our final 2 predictions for the Batman. What do you got, Ricky Flex?
So I think there's an obvious one that we have to have on our top 10, but I'm going to save it as your pick because I think that you will mention it if I don't. And I think that'll be a good last one to talk about. And I think you know what I'm talking about here. So I will go Catwoman and Robert Pattinson will not make out in this movie. There will be so much tension there. There will be a lot of tension, but they won't do it.
I think they will, or it's just going to be Zoe Kravitz licking his mouth.
Okay. Yeah.
But I would say they're not going to have sex. I'll tell you that.
Agreed. I agree with that.
But
like,
no, okay. So you're saying, so Catwoman won't make out with Batman. So we'll do, okay. So you think there's gonna be a lot of sexual tension, but nothing will be acted upon.
Correct.
So maybe it's like that distrust between the two, but they're also a sexual attraction between the two. And they see a lot of similarities with themselves. They view Gotham City very similarly. They just have different motivations. And I don't know. They seem like they're certainly attracted to each other during this trailer. Oh, yeah. So I think that's a bold prediction. You think they don't make out?
Hot take. It's a hot take.
All right. That is a hot take. I would say like a majority of people would disagree, but we'll make sure that we hit the check boxes right after that we watch the movie here. To wrap up here, I think you've told me like you're hinted at like what I need to bring up, and you're keeping it as the last one. I assume we are talking about the Joker. Okay. Correct. I assume we are talking about the Joker. I will say the Joker is hinted at towards the end of the movie, but will not be a post-credit scene. That's what I'm going to say about the Joker. All right. I think Matt Reeves looks at post-credit scenes and it's like, this is more of like my masterpiece. I've put so much into it. Like it has like almost that MCU type of element, which is obviously this movie's unlike anything the MCU has ever done. And it's like Marvel's kind of shtick. I think they're going to show the Joker, but it will not be in a post-credit scene towards the end of the movie.
Okay, so what are we thinking here? You're thinking, so during the movie.
Want to workshop this one?
So, yeah. So I agree that there will not be a post-credit scene in this movie. That was going to be another like a prediction of mine. There's no post-credit scenes. But that didn't make the top 10 here.
The Joker. So maybe we workshop it. The Joker has one scene in this movie towards the end, not a post-credit.
Because like you've seen like the rumors and flying around that Barry Kogan, whatever, is in this movie, and like he has the makeup, costume design. We worked with him on his specific person, so that brings that to that like assumption that he's in this movie. I was gonna go hot take. It's all his scenes got cut. He's not in this movie.
Wow, I'm not doing that. I'm not workshop. He's in this movie because they already said that.
We don't want to go hot takes, bold predictions here.
I think so. I think we're pretty bold with a lot of these. We have a heavy emphasis on the Court of Owls, and there's no way, like, there's no indication that they even exist in this universe. But we went heavy Court of Owls, and you said that the boldest prediction here. You think the final battle is not going to be with the Riddler?
Yeah, all right. Maybe
that's the boldest one.
It is hot. It's a hot take. I don't know. I kind of was thinking like this is like our hottest takes. Like this is like our hottest predictions. I don't know, but okay.
So you just, I mean, I think there's just too much buzz around it.
I think so. This movie is potentially the start of a trilogy here, and to throw the Joker in for only one scene takes away from what this movie's trying to accomplish in separating itself from all the rest of the other Batman universes. I think Matt Reeves at the end of the day is going to be like, let's just save it for the next movie. Like, let's set up this world, this Gotham City, this Batman, a young Batman that we've never encountered before on the live full feature film here, or live action. Let's set it up. So then we go Dark Knight. We'll do a sequel similar to the Dark Knight with the Joker.
Just have the movie stand on its own without using the Joker as like this clickbait and this
exactly
this moment where people are they say, oh my God, this is like their takeaway at the end rather than the masterpiece that they just watched.
Correct. But if he is in this movie, like you're saying, I do think it'll be like Batman going to interrogate the Riddler, and then he's like walking past, and like there's Barry Keoghan's Joker right there. And like, as a cell.
Do you think they show like his act? Do you think it's gonna be like a shadow with this just showing I think it's gonna be like a shadow that just shows the smile on his face, and that's it.
I think they would give us. He would be in like I think he would be in like the prison clothes, uniform, whatever you call it. But like he would have the makeup on. I think he would have the makeup on. I think they would show it. Way too big of a tease during the movie. Because again, like if you show the Joker during the movie, if you show the Joker during the movie, it's like you're thinking about that for the rest of the movie. You are. You can't do that. Like you can't.
It won't be at the beginning. It will be towards the end. But it makes you think, like, what does this Joker look like? Like, is he going to have like the classic white makeup? Is he just going to be like, I'm trying to think of like what, like, did he really drop in a vat of acid like in this rendition? Or is he just going to be like an albino that has like scars on his face where he smiles? Like, what is
that's my prediction. I don't think the acid will be in play here.
So but like, how will he have the makeup on? Maybe he's just going to prison. Like, how would he keep it all on? You know what I mean? That's a tough way to handle like the actual look of the character and design.
Maybe he doesn't have the makeup on, but then again, like allegedly the makeup person worked with Barry Keoghan here, like as noted in the script or the cast outline. So I don't know. It's again, we're just doing predictions here.
Maybe they haven't decided yet. That's why I think like maybe they.
I think the scenes were cut.
I think the scenes were cut. No way. Disagree. I do have a bonus prediction here, Ricky Flex. Bonus prediction. This movie will survive the March release into Oscar season next year and will be a contender.
You're not gonna contender for Best Picture?
Everything.
I was gonna say you're gonna stand back, stand pat with your Pattinson prediction.
Yeah, he'll be in consideration.
What's your prediction? Will he get nominated?
I can't pull back on it.
You have to go with it.
I have to. I don't like. Even my mind's telling me it's not going to happen. It was unlikely in the first place. Now we're getting a March release. I think like this movie's gonna have such a cultural impact, right? It's gonna be looked at as such a, as like worth the hype. And only like Batman is the type of superhero that you would consider for like Oscar nominations, like with the grounded aspect, right? The non-superpower type of character. Okay. So I think that it's going to last this basically 11 month period be in the conversation next year in the Oscars. That's my bonus.
So you think this is a better shot than Robert Eggers' The Northman to be in the Oscars conversation?
No.
That comes out next month in April.
I think they're both going to be in consideration.
Wow. Interesting, doctor.
I would say, I would say the Batman has a better chance at being in the mix next year when they have the nominations come out, but I don't think The Northman will be ignored either.
Okay.
Batman has a better chance.
Okay. Good to know.
Any other bonus one you want to bring up?
So I have another storyline related to the Catwoman, but I haven't decided my final prediction there yet. And it's what's her end game, because obviously she's a thief, but the Falcone implications, like what does she want? Does she just want to know her mother's name, or does she want to know more? And I think if I would predict, because like Long Halloween, in case you don't know, Long Halloween, her goal was to find out what was her mom's name, because obviously because of her implications with Falcone being her father. I think it's more than that. I think it's far more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I also think that car chase scene with the Batmobile and Oswald Cobblepot, I keep calling him that instead of the Penguin. But I think that's going to go down as one of the greatest car chase scenes in movie history.
I like that. Oh, the music and then the look of the upside down Pattinson Batman with the cape flying and the flames. It has so much potential. This movie. There. I was gonna say also, like, another prediction here. Two things actually. The club scene, much better than The Dark Knight, obviously, but will it be a contender against John Wick's fight club scene or the Terminator? Will that be a contender there? Or are we talking about when he's in that like dark tunnel and all you can see is like the flashing guns and then him just beating up people through the light from the gun? So like Darth Vader vibes there from Rogue One. Like, I don't know. These fight scenes look incredible. I don't have any predictions with what would be better there. I just think that's a possibility for predictions. And could that be these action fight sequences? Could they be better than those movies that I referred to?
That'd be insane. Like if these action sequences outdo like John Wick, that would be incredible.
Yeah, David Leitch is a king at that. So probably not. So that's why I didn't make this list.
But the way it's shot is so incredible too. I can't wait to see like Greg Fraser's cinematography here. It's going to be next level, combined with the Giacchino score and then like the violence of like Robert Pattinson's Batman in this. It's going to be great. So that's our 10 predictions for the Batman. Should I read them off really quick or should we?
Real quick.
So first prediction here, we say that Harvey Dent will be alluded to in the film, but we will not see Harvey Dent. Okay. Potentially see him in a spin-off series for either the Penguin or the Gotham City Police Department. Our next prediction, Alfred will take down somebody in a one-on-one combat type of fight. Our third prediction, Riddler's endgame will be to reveal the Court of Owls. Okay. At the end of this movie, the final battle will not be with the Riddler versus the Batman. Will not be the Riddler versus the Batman, according to Ricky Flicks. Next one, there will be a Nirvana song played at some point in this movie. Next, Carmine Falcone will die in the arms of Batman / Bruce Wayne. Next one, Jim Gordon's family will not be featured in this movie, and he will fight and take down somebody in one-on-one combat. Next, the Waynes were a part of the Court of Owls, if the Court of Owls do actually exist in this universe. Next, Catwoman won't make out with Batman. All right, hot take from Ricky Flex. And then finally, the Joker will be seen in one scene towards the end of this movie. And I'm just going to add to the fact, it won't be full facial. Won't be full facial.
No,
it's weird to say.
Moving on.
Facial LaFleur, total facial. So those are our 10 predictions for the Batman. All right. And that's going to do it for episode 78 of the Drive-In Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to wherever you listen, whether it be on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher. We're everywhere. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen. Make sure you're following us on all our social channels, okay? Whether it be Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at the Drive-In Pod. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube, all right? This bold predictions segment will be on YouTube, so make sure you check that out as well, right? A lot of like funny facial expressions. You see me like chugging out of a huge pitcher of water the entire time. So that's going to do it for episode 78 of the Drive-In Podcast. Until next time, we will smell ya.